After tonight, please do make sure that you bring your friends, your colleagues who do have businesses to come along, because it's not very often that we have the specialist in the industry delivering something so unique and so much value, that delivers so much value in the format that they're going to be doing it. And I don't want to give too much away though. Before we get started, I'd like to also acknowledge all our beautiful sponsors. Platinum member, Mr. Sam and Annette Harp. Sam, it's beautiful to see you here tonight, and I'm so glad you're directly across from me. I've got my eyes on you tonight, okay? So behave. But Sam and Annette Harp, thank you very much, from Sam the Paving Man. Foundation partner, Mr. Joe Risk from Able Bank. Gold members, Mr. Sam Talib of Tempe Tyres. And I'd love to acknowledge our silver members, Hamden & Associate, Naturally Timber, RM Gregory Promo Print, TechRam, Sabio Financial Solutions, Credible Accountants, Civic Lawyers, and a very, very a very, very big welcome to our Westpac Regional Manager, Mr. Adam Yahya. We have a number of really important guests with us tonight, and I will introduce you very soon. There is a lady who will be with us for a short period of time, which is Alat. You have seen her. She will be taking around The Return, talking about her play. And one of the most beautiful things about this play, it reads, The Return, the old will die and the young will return. So please make sure you have a chat to Alat later on, throughout the evening, and I'll talk a lot more about what she's doing as well. But before we get started, I do want to introduce our host with the most. And I used to always say Mr. President, but tonight I'm going to call him the Shawarma King. Our Shawarma King. If you haven't been to Concord to try the shawarma, you've got to go. But please, a very, very warm welcome to Mr. President George Bousamra.
Reem, without a doubt, every single month you always seem to embarrass me even more, slightly more.
Keep doing that too.
Yeah, I think Shawarma King is a bit far-fetched. I'm happy to stick with Shawarma President. I think that's all good. That's a bit more in my wheelhouse. But it's great to see you all here today, particularly on such an interesting topic, which is about AI. And, we've been chatting about AI as a business council for the last 2 years. Actually, I think this year even might mark the third year that we addressed the topic. And tonight we wanted to do something different, something a bit more engaging, interactive, and to ensure that our members are actually using AI in its full capacity. And of course, we've got the tech experts to help you along, to spur you along upon that journey as well, and really see where AI is placed in our businesses, in our community, and its relevance. People talk a lot about the doom and gloom and how it replaces jobs and people, but we're actually starting to find now that it just amplifies our ability to do more with the time and resources that we have. So hopefully you get that message through. And we want tonight to be an exercise of sharing, so please do have your questions ready and be forthcoming with that. And of course, next month, we want to continue the discussion once again and check on your progress to see how you've adopted AI into your business. So it's not just a one-off topic. We'll be taking it to September as well to ensure that the message is being delivered and AI is being implemented in your businesses. So please stay tuned for that. In terms of the Arab Business Council's progress, we're excited to see more people taking advantage of the affiliate membership. A lot of that will come into fruition once we, develop the website slightly more. But it's great to see that the community is responding well to that new tier of membership, and it actually has brought on other members to join as well when they actually do see the value of the Australian Arab Business Council, and that's largely thanks to the work that you guys do outside of these meetings in trying to build a community. So I think that message rang through quite earlier today, and hopefully will carry through tonight. And without a doubt, 10th of December will be our big gala dinner, our 200th dinner. We're now going to go out to our members, encouraging some sponsorship and table bookings for those evenings. So that will happen next month. So please do stay tuned for that and see how you would like to play a role in that gala as well. That's all the messages for me tonight. I'll push it back over to our esteemed MC, Reem Burrows. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
So it may feel like we're harping on this topic of AI. It is a very, very important topic. And I think one of the things that we underestimate is the value of how many specialists and the specialists that we have here at the AABC in this topic. I know in my business with my clients, part of our discussions and sessions is about AI and how do you efficiently use it to help your work. So tonight, what I love about tonight and the way that it's been structured for us is that it's very interactive. It's not going to be boring. It's all about you. So we're going to be asking you to be very, very selfish and only think about you and your business. And the team is going to take you, our incredible hosts are going to take you through the program. So it's not a traditional presentation and it's all about you. So I'd love you to welcome our silver member from TechRam, Victor Khalil, who's a co-founder and director, engineering and design. And Rami Yunus, who's a co-founder and director, engagement and strategy. And I'd like to also say that Victor's parents came tonight especially for this, so thank you, to support their beautiful son.
Hello, everyone. Do we have two microphones?
Yeah, do you want more than this one?
This one?
There's that one here.
Yeah, we'll share them.
And you can take this off the thing.
We can? Which one would you?
This one's good.
Yeah, this one's right.
Hello.
Take this off.
Okay, cool. I'll take that. Is there one here?
Yeah, this is
So we can use that to give people the mic. Is there class questions? Yes.
okay. Hello, everyone. So today is a bit of a different. We're calling it a fireside chat. So
With no file?
yeah, there's no fire. So what we're going to do is there's actually a few great questions that has come through, but first we're going to sort of give a little bit of a background about the topic of AI. I'm assuming there's people with very different knowledge and experience here. Kind of put your hand up if you're using AI very extensively in your business. Okay, put your hand up if you don't use it at all. Okay. So it's kind of, it seems there's
a good split.
Handful of people who don't use it at all, and there's quite a few people who use it extensively. What we're going to do today is we're going to just open up the discussion, talk a little bit about AI use cases, also talk a little bit about safe use and how to implement AI. We'll touch onto the questions, and then what we've done is we've also prepared a little interactive session where users are going to, or everyone here, are going to be able to scan a QR code and answer a few questions and sort of pull some details and information for us to also better read what people are trying to do and different areas that AI can be of use in your business. And then we'll also talk more about that as well. That's going to lead into next session, which I'll share at the end. I'll leave that a little bit exciting. Okay, cool. So, all right, so we'll talk about the different areas that AI can be of use. So there's really 6 categories that you could look at AI in your business. You could look at AI and implementing a chatbot. This is what basically ChatGPT, Claude is. There's so many different use cases. You could build for large teams a knowledge base of information that your teams can ask questions. An example We're currently helping this logistics company that has about 60 staff, and it takes them hours to find a piece of information, or when someone calls the customer service desk asking about where their shipment is or all the fine details. And so having all that information in one place, having a chatbot for your team to be able to really ask questions and get answers quickly, to answer and respond to that customer service inquiry very quickly. So chatbots are really popular, many different ways. You've seen them on websites as well. The other different use case for AI is what we call vertical AI, which is like industry-specific AI. I'm sure a few like mortgage brokers in here have started to see, there's different AI specific for mortgage brokers. There's different applications or platforms that are starting to come out. There's, in the marketing space, really, there's, specifically how can I take an idea and turn it into 100 different pieces of content. That's what we'll call industry specific or vertical AI. And then you've got AI in applications. So having something like HubSpot, which is very popular, and having AI built into that. There's many different ways that you can implement AI. Do you want to go on next? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we then go into what's known as autonomous agents. Has anyone here heard of agentic AI or agents in AI? Hands up, yeah, nice. So the idea behind autonomous agents is being able to take some of your workflows that you have in your business and have an AI agent run that workflow for you. So it's a bit of automation, it's a bit of thinking around the AI, some reasoning, giving it the ability to actually carry out the work for you. We then run into AI workflows, very similar to autonomous agents, but a little bit more deeper. And then finally with building with AI. So I think we have really found a lot of our own improvements internally with our company, our tech brand, where we do a lot of development now, we do a lot of our design, we do a lot of our proof of concept directly with AI. We've been able to build quick and easy proof of concepts that are blowing our customers away in hours, not weeks. And that's really helping our sales process, because at the end of the day, the customer's saying, you understand my requirements, you understand exactly what my vision is, and we can show them really quickly. So that's really the 6 main use cases we've been seeing with AI over the last probably 6 months.
So the question is which one's right for you? Where do I go? Which path do I choose? And the answer is it depends on your business. And there's so many different approaches, so many different ways. The thing about AI, and I'm sure everyone has seen, is it's changing so quickly. You hear about one thing that's possible, and 6 months later you're like, that was never possible, and then it's possible. So the most important thing really is not to actually get married to any of these specific use cases. Test out, am I running better processes, or am I more efficient if I use HubSpot's AI, if you use HubSpot as your CRM, for example, a popular CRM, or would it be better if I build it myself? So there's different ways, there's different approaches. The key here is be able to change and adapt very quickly and move on and leave it behind. The companies that are really doing well that we're seeing are moving so quickly, where they're testing every single week something new. And I know that it's a really crazy thing to be building something, test it, and then throw it away if you don't like it after 1 week. But those are the companies that are really doing well. That you have to be able to test quickly, you have to try things and see what sticks. So, okay, one more slide, I promise. So how to really prepare your business. There's many different ways, but 4 simple steps. Start with a plan. Have those right foundations as well. Understand where your data is. Make sure your data is secure. Make sure the applications that you're using are ready to be able to start to integrate with AI if you're bringing it there. If you have a team, the 3rd step really is make sure you bring your people along. That's actually one of the most important crucial steps, because you don't want to be implementing something that nobody wants to use and no one really understands. So making sure that the people in your teams are coming along your journey. And then, of course, make sure you monitor, improve, and see what doesn't work. That's really important to continue to test and continue to see, what is working in your business and what isn't.
Yes. So.
All right. So that's the boring stuff. Now we're going to open it up to the room. Now, when everybody was booking their tickets for tonight, there was a question. People probably missed it because everyone's busy and wants to click. But there was a question to say, well, what is your AI question for tonight? Where are you in your business and what are you thinking about? And so we have a couple of questions we'll go through and then we'll start opening it up to the floor. The first question is it possible for AI to self-evolve and spiral out of control, causing uncontrollable havoc? Yes.
Yes.
Next question.
Definitely. Yeah, but a bit more on that topic. Yeah, like of course, this has been a big concern for a lot of companies, especially governments, is making sure that the right guardrails and the right protection around AI. Because it can evolve and grow very quickly. So it is a concern, of course, but we're optimists, yeah, and we think that it's not going to be that bad. But the next question is, will AI take over with accountancy? It's a good question.
I think
who did the accountant who asked that? It's a broader question as well. Like, will AI replace any job?
Any job or any industry. I think it's important to know that AI is going to take over a lot of workflows and tasks that you normally do in your business. Will it take over accounting? I think accounting will evolve. I think a lot of businesses will evolve to include and integrate AI into their system to be able to give them the insight to work better with their clients. We're going to have different ways of working. We're going to have new industries to show up. We're going to have new problems that are going to arise from AI. So will it take over accounting? I think it'll evolve accounting.
Yep. Okay, next question. How to create AI videos and automate content creation? It's a two-part question. And sharing social media, can AI be user-friendly for seniors? Okay. So on the first part, how to create AI videos and automate, there's heaps of tools out there. For AI videos, most popular is actually called Seed Dance, which has been really popular. It's been able to create basically movies, if you've ever seen them. And to automate content creation, there's so many different, going back to our use cases, there's a lot of vertical AI solutions that can make your whole marketing content for the month at a click of a button. Or you could really be a little bit more like how, personally, we could share how we do it, is we don't leave everything to the AI. Personally, I do a lot of the content creation in our business. I would actually sit and brainstorm, so use my brain sometimes, and then use the AI to help enhance and create all the content that I need to actually create for the week ahead. So a lot of it starts with my personal planning, and then I'd go into a system like Claude, which would help me. I do a lot of LinkedIn posting. I'm not sure if anyone here follows me on LinkedIn. Make sure you do. But yeah, I would use it in that way and be able to plan out and massage and improve my content, come up with ideas for photos, and then go out and do it myself. A lot of the times I like to do it myself, but there are a lot of people out there who have automated, on another topic, not just social media, but also SEO end-to-end, which has been actually quite popular and taking off for a lot of businesses as well. And can AI be user-friendly for seniors? I think we have to just get seniors to start to use technology more, and maybe it would be a little bit more, but yeah. AI has so many use cases. There's so many open possibilities. Okay, next question is, what are your top 3 tips for better GEO for websites? Do you want me to take it? Okay. So question is, top 3 tips for GEO. GEO stands for Generative AI Engine Optimization. So, what does that mean? Everything was... Can I have this one?
Okay. So, search, everyone knows, for people who have websites, SEO is very common. It's search engine optimization, which is when someone searches me on Google, I come up first. That's like all you want. You come up first, that's the goal. GEO, which is Generative Engine Optimization. So everyone now who uses Google, when you search on Google, you see you get an automated AI response there. That's generative AI. Sometimes you see if the response requires a business recommendation, Google will recommend a business in that response. And that's actually starting to become more successful than SEO, which gets pushed down a little bit now, which is a bit crazy. A lot of people have invested a lot of money in SEO. So how to get good on the generative AI? Honestly, you've got to speak to a marketing consultant, but you could actually completely skip a marketing consultant and you could actually use tools like Claude or ChatGPT that could, this is what we do, is scan all our competitors that are doing really, really well, understand how they're doing well, check their websites, and implement similar strategies in my business. You could literally just give that to AI, tell it what your website is, tell it what your industry you're in, who your customers are, and it will literally build a full strategy on the things that you need to improve for GEO. So that's honestly, I'm not going to give 3 tips, that's literally the one thing that you do. Get a Claude subscription is my first tip. The second tip is write that prompt, and then you'll get, honestly, better recommendations than any marketing. You'd pay a marketing consultants, just on that topic, you pay them $2,000 to $5,000 a month for SEO. You could literally just do that all on a $20 Claude subscription.
What is one of the biggest mistakes businesses or individuals do when it comes to AI?
I think what we're seeing a lot in the market is businesses rushing to try and implement AI and not planning how they're going to implement it. Something important that we have to think about is, although we trust the AI companies, we don't trust how it's accessing our data. And it's important to realize that if your data itself, which is where we always start when we're speaking with a business, whether it's in OneDrive or SharePoint or Google Drive, Dropbox, whatever that may be, it's important to know who first has access to that data in your team. So if Rami is an employee at TechRam and he sees that there's a financial folder, and in that financial folder is my payslip, the rest of the team's payslips, potentially CFO information. If Rami can see it, then AI in your business can most likely see it. And you might think, okay, well that's not too bad because that's all right. It's not going to really go outside of the zone and spread all of our information out to the public. But well, what if Rami's on the AI and he just says, what is Victor's salary? And he pops up. So we now have to think about what is the internal business strategies that we need to think about. We need to plan right, we need to secure our data, we need to train our team. Culture is very important. So I think one of the main problems and one of the main mistakes a lot of businesses are making is running headfirst into AI thinking it's going to solve everything, but we have to treat it like a tool. And as with any tool, you have to make sure it has the right guardrails, it has the right plan, and the right outcome.
Okay. Next one is, what is the future of AI at law? Just don't skip law. Don't do law. No. Can I take this one?
Yeah. So there's so many tools out there. If any lawyers have heard, one really popular one is called Harvey, and there's another one called Legora as well. These are two. They're actually more enterprise law tools. They've been really popular in enhancing a lawyer's job, making their job a lot easier, creating more with AI. But I feel like the question was more targeted as what's going to happen to people, to lawyers, and how a business is going to be using AI. I think law is actually going to change, similar to with accounting. It's really going to evolve because in our business, I needed to speak to a lawyer to change something on my contract. Instead of paying someone, I just got Claude to do it. I got an AI to fix it for me. Got some feedback, made the adjustments, and then it was all good to go. So I think law is going to change. I think the way lawyers are actually going to be engaging with their clients is going to be very, very different. It's going to evolve. It is honestly, in general, going to really depend on what happens with the law society. Claude, for those who don't know, Claude had made an announcement today that it has an invisible watermark on any Claude responses. So you can say that the Law Society or the government can say any contract that has been created by Claude copy-paste that hasn't been reviewed by a lawyer will not be counted in a court of law. Now, if they go ahead and make that, which is very likely that they will do that, if they go ahead and do that, it's going to make lawyers very successful. And there's a lot of work for them to be reviewing these AI-generated contracts. So it's really hard to say what the future is of anything in any industry at the moment because it's changing so rapidly. Though, yeah, I think it is going to really change, and there are certain things and certain, I'm not a seer, but there's certain things that can really dictate how the future is of any industry, especially with what the government imposes and different societies and different communities impose.
I think I'll add to that. Something that I saw in an article a couple of months ago was there was a law firm that has started to build their own voice into an AI. And what that means is they've taken all of their cases in the past, all of their matters, they've taken recordings from meetings, their notes. They've basically taken the brain of their team and started to build it into its own AI knowledge hub. And what that's allowed them to do is sell their IP as a subscription to their clients, where they've gone to their clients and said, for a small fee, you can pay to be able to interact with our knowledge that we have in our business, with everything that we've worked on in the past, of course with disclaimers around it being the correct professional type of response. However, in and of itself is giving businesses now a way to build up their own IP into their own AI models. So it's very important for us to also think about, as businesses, sure, there's competition out there, but every single business has their own individual way of solving problems. And with that, gives each business an individual way to build their own voice when it does come to AI. Yep.
Thank you, Victor.
All right, we've got one more question.
Wait, what's the last one? Sorry. Yes, Janelle.
In what you say today, first of all, thank you, amazing information. But on that topic, if that happened and a wrong advice given by the app to the clients, isn't it high risk for the business?
Absolutely. And that's where I think they'd have the disclaimer around it, where there's probably guardrails around what the responses are. It could be advisory with hey, we'll give you this advice, but somebody will follow up with you. But it is starting to bring more of the knowledge of the organisation into their own model, which is where a lot of businesses will go.
But if somebody took that advice and ran away with it, he got it done, and he had a big loss happen because of that, they can sue the firm.
Potentially, I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, so it is high risk.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And same apply actually to accountants because the advice could destroy anyone's financials.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Those are very important disclaimers. AI can make mistakes. Don't really trust AI end to end as well. Yeah.
On the next question, OpenAI got sued in the US. OpenAI got sued in the US for providing negligent legal advice, and as a consequence, the last few months you'll see if you ask any legal questions, it will say, this is not, there's like a disclaimer right, it's like, this is not legal advice, go obtain independent legal advice. And that's because OpenAI got sued. But I think that's the major issue, is like, who is liable, where's the risk sit if you're relying on it?
And like, on your point, Jeanette, like I've spoken to many mortgage brokers who's giving me financial advice, but they put a little thing at the end by saying, this isn't financial advice, and I think they get away with it. So yeah, there's ways that they're getting around it, and there's loopholes, but I think there also is a level of human judgment. We have to all really take, AI with really a grain of salt and not take it as fact. That's very important as well.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm a lawyer, I use AI quite a little bit, and I've noticed, and it's actually come up in courts a fair few times about AI hallucinating, creating content up that doesn't exist to fit a model. I played around with it and it lied to me, like I got it to review a very, very long document. I said, find me a clause, and it assumed there should have been a clause there, because there should have been, but there wasn't, so it made one up. And I said, show me it, and it just created a clause out of nothing. And I kept on pressing it, and it kept on lying to me. Do you see that continuing, or is that something that is getting better as AI improves?
Like AI is trained to give you the most likely best answer very, very quickly. The honest truth is, it is only getting better. It is getting a lot smarter. In organizations where, like, to minimize stuff like that, they're doing, it's very complex, getting a little bit advanced, but there's many different strategies on how they can minimize AI by having multiple AI check the work, multiple agents in this scenario. So to answer your question, yes, it is getting a lot better. If you use something like Claude, you can see that, I've used it, and I always tell it, make sure you check your work. And I'll see that it will get a different agent to come in and check its work, and then come back and confirm that, yep, there's a confirmation bot. So there's different methods and different ways, but it's only going to really improve. But the hallucination, I don't know if it will ever get to zero hallucination. That's another debate and another topic. Should we
open it up?
Maybe we'll go to this last question and then we'll open it up, because this actually was my favorite question.
Yeah.
I think this is really good.
If you were running an accounting firm today, which AI tools would you invest in first and why? How do leading options like Microsoft Copilot, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, and accounting-specific AI solutions compare when it comes to productivity gains, data security, accuracy, and ROI?
My answer? Do you want to give your answer? My answer would be that instead of going out and buying an accounting software, I would build my own accounting software using AI. I would, if you've heard of this term called the SaaS apocalypse, where all of the big SaaS companies, all of the big cloud applications like Xero, HubSpot, all of the popular ones have actually dropped in revenue in their share price by 80%. And the reason for that is because people don't need to buy software anymore. You can just build your own software. That was actually the last category that we had up on our last slide, which was build with AI. Instead of actually going out and finding an application that suits your needs, you actually build the application, or you build it around your people, around your processes, exactly how you want to run and how you want to operate. You can actually do that very easily with AI.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
That's your answer?
100%. So...
yeah, there were some questions there.
We want to open it up to the floor. There might be a couple of questions. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we're going to go ask questions, but for anyone as well.
Everyone, not anyone, everyone.
Anyone and everyone. So everyone, if you want to scan that QR code, you can send a message to us, write down what's bothering you. You can explore, share what's really on your mind, and we can also discuss it.
Yeah, I think you touched slightly on this. If this is a scenario, if, for example, I'm using internal reports, private report for the organization that I'm working in, a number of reports and from some private data as well, and put it into AI to produce something else, okay? Does that compromise my internal information that becomes publicly available to the rest of the world? So I've compromised my own internal files.
The answer is yes and no. So, yes, if you haven't set your privacy and controls in your AI client to not learn and train on your data, know if you actually already have checked that item. So in every AI client, whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot, Gemini, there is a configuration setting that isn't on by default because they're sneaky, that allows them to train on anything you feed it. And when we say train, we mean let the AI learn. So I would encourage everybody that when they go home or tomorrow morning or whatever it might be, when you log on and you start using AI, go into the configuration or Google, you say, I want to make sure or I want to turn off or disable my AI from learning or training on my data. And it will give you the steps on how to turn it off. Yeah.
You can do that with Facebook and Instagram as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to be a graduate soon, and I'm obviously anxious about a lot of the AI taking like lower end jobs instead of the new entry jobs. Do you think there's a skill shortage that will come out of that, where these new entry jobs where you learn these like fundamental skills about business or whatever you're trying to learn? What happens when these young kids aren't learning them because they're being replaced by AI?
Well, something that we say is like AI isn't going to replace people, but it's going to replace people who don't know how to use AI. What's going to be more valuable in a job for a graduate, and we hire like this a lot actually, is seeing how much use of AI that person has and will be able to use when they come into the business. Because AI isn't going to replace people, it's just going to make people, I don't think it's replacing my job, it's making me work more, right? We're doing so much more in our business because we have access to the skills that we've created, and it's taken a lot of time for us to massage our AI to work for us. And yeah, I don't think it's going to replace. I think there is going to be a little bit of a correction and new jobs will start to appear. It's the same way when the manufacturing industries and industrial automation starts to get automated with machinery. There was a big correction. The same way that we replaced horse carriages with cars, there's a little correction, but instead of people riding horse carriages, people had to learn how to drive a car and taxi people around. So the industry, we're always changing, we're always adapting. So there is people have to just adapt with the times and adapt with what's new, especially with how quickly technology is rapidly changing. It's a very philosophical question.
Awesome. Good question.
Well, thank you very much, you guys. Such a great presentation. Now, you sound like you know what you're talking about, and you're up to date with what's happening. So you've been on stage for the last maybe 20 minutes, and we don't know who the hell you are. You haven't explained to us who you are, what to do, how do we access your company, your services, because what you're talking about is so relevant. I think everyone in the room here would be very keen to get in touch with you, and you honestly didn't tell us who you are. Can you spend 1 minute explain to us, because I think that'll be the best outcome this evening.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Hassan. Yeah, we are TechRam. We've been now with the AABC for just over a year, and we are Microsoft automation consultants in the best way to say possible. What that means is we work with a lot of businesses to understand what their pain points are. We understand, we come through and we start mapping out their processes, finding the friction points, and helping them automate and put AI behind those processes. And we've had a lot of really, great success in the last 6 months because this is the era that we're in. And yeah, we're contactable through our website, which we'll add up there in a little bit. And we're also here for the rest of the evening. Thank you.
I just have a quick question in reference to the cost of AI. So some people say that you run out of tokens and you have to not use AI for a few hours. Some other people are saying if you're using AI agents and AI agents get out of control, it could be that you end up with a hefty bill because of the token process and the usage. And I'm not sure. Can you explain that to us?
So what Farid is alluding to is this is going to get a little bit technical, but I'll try and contain it a little bit. Every word you send through AI consumes a token. And what a token is, it's a way for the AI model to understand and to be able to create a pattern of the sentence that you're giving it. So, for example, if I said, "What is the nearest restaurants around me?" That's 7 tokens, I think. And so what happens is the AI goes, okay, I'm going to take this sentence and I'm going to break them up into individual tokens. And then when I take those tokens, I'm going to find the best answer possible in the knowledge that I have. This is probably the easiest way to explain it. Now, what Farid is mentioning is when we use AI, especially maybe something like Claude, or if you're using something a bit more advanced, you have a certain amount of tokens per session. And when you hit that session limit, either you have to wait a certain amount of time or you can pay for more tokens. Was your question more around what should we do when it comes to that?
Especially if you have AI agents
Yes.
that are just going on their own.
For sure. This is where we set up the guardrails around the AI agents. And when we set up these guardrails, we can also choose to use cheaper models. Now, when we say cheaper models, every AI has a different level. Think, basic, standard, and premium. The basic allows you to answer most basic questions. And when you hit that premium tier, it allows you to start actually providing more stronger reasoning, calculation, planning, business problem skills. So when we're thinking about AI agents, sometimes they need a lower level, which consumes less tokens, which costs less money, but we make sure the guardrails are around it. Does that help? Cool.
Thank you, Rami. Thank you, Doctor. It's a great presentation. Yesterday they put in the news somebody fascinated with AI. He used AI in his home and all stuff. He asked AI to book him a gym. He went around the gym. He didn't find spot for him. He canceled spots for other people and he took it. He working as Baltaji, as Baltaji, bullying the system and take the booking, and it's happened in many times. So how he could do it?
This is a good question. So this was actually in the news yesterday or the day before, where what he's mentioning is this guy basically found a loophole in his gym app, and he got his AI to find, or rather have a look through his gym app for a free session that he can book himself into. The AI found no free sessions, but found a loop because he basically pushed it and said, no, I really want this session. The AI found a security gap in the app, in the gym app, pushed someone out and forced his session into it. So this is a brand new world we're living in, and he is absolutely. Yeah. Any AI can do it. Yeah. Disclaimer: don't do this at home. But I think it's important to note that we are going to start seeing a lot of security vulnerabilities in a lot of the applications and services that we use, especially with the ones that we trust. Everything from your gym app to potentially government applications. So it's important to note that keep your data to yourself with your privacy, because we're going to start seeing a lot of these vulnerabilities pop up and a lot of these applications being hacked. How did he do it? It's just bad security. That's all it is.
I'm an old lawyer, and frankly, I know very little about AI, but I also don't give a damn whether I'm replaced by a machine or by a human being. At some stage, I'll be retiring and leaving it all behind. But every time I create an affidavit in the Supreme Court,
some machine populates the first couple of paragraphs to the words. Generative, I declare that generative AI was not used in creating any part of this affidavit or any of the annexes there too. It always troubles me because if you're creating a very long affidavit with many annexes, how do you control? And I don't know what the difference is between generative AI and some other form of AI that you mentioned tonight, but it seems to me that it's almost impossible to know whether all your annexes have no generative AI input into them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is going to get to a point where it's going to be very hard to know if it has been done with AI. Going back to the invisible watermark that Claude, they were apparently forced to do that by the government because, you know, going to the marketing example, like people would be paying for an SEO person to go and do the work for them, but AI can now do it much better and cheaper. And so, yeah, it is going to be a very interesting time where in the future, like at the moment, you know, it's funny because they're probably using AI to pick up AI, but...
It's like everyone asks you to prove that you're not a
not a robot. Not a robot, exactly. But they're all robots. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's going to get so much harder in the future because you know these technologies are starting to get more and more advanced. I don't know, for people who are on LinkedIn now, there's a little button where you can mark a post on LinkedIn as AI slop, which is like just AI rubbish. So there, you know, and to answer your question as well, you had another question about what is generative AI. Generative AI is just like the ChatGPT, the Claude. It's generating it's generating a big response at the back of what's known as like a large language model. So like it scans heaps of text, it knows how to answer, and it generates some response. That's generative AI.
It could be text, images, video.
It's expanded into multimodal now. Yeah. But to answer your question, I think the same way, for example, the watch industry now really values handmade watches at a much more premium. I think that's what we're going to start to. This is my philosophical prediction, by the way. It's anyone else? Fully my idea. But I really think what we're going to see is that we're going to see there's going to be a big gap where AI is just going to be so common that there's going to be a very big gap in people who do things with AI at a very low, cheap, it's like buying something from China, it's just made poorly, versus something that's made by a human. It's going to be more expensive, it's going to be more premium. And then I think there's going to be a really big shift. So the same way that we have non-organic food that's really cheap in the markets versus organic food that people who can afford it go and buy, who made it by hand and who don't spray it and who do extra hard to look after it. We're going to see a shift in the market. So it is going to be very hard. It is hard already to like sometimes, because like what I do is I sometimes make something with AI and then I get another AI to make it not sound like AI. So it's a little cheeky tip there. But I think the industry and the market will change and it will correct itself, like everything really corrects itself. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we're being booted off. Oh wait, one more. One more for another one.
Thank you guys, excellent presentation, quite an eye-opener. Look, everybody in this room tonight was critical of AI. Nobody gave credit to AI. Historically, there have been milestones where things changed, from the 1840s with industrialization, the 1950s with automation, the 2000s with the internet, and every time we felt the sky is gonna fall. Remember the 2000s, the planes will fall off the sky, and we felt we'll have high unemployment, people will not have jobs. And as you said, the right word, we evolve. I think AI is undervalued. I see the negative sentiment. Everybody is criticizing AI. When you ask that question to AI, particularly with paid AI, and it gives you so much option, it gives you so much knowledge, that it's really beyond the human brain. The speed and relative accuracy, yes, I think if you don't pay, you do get hallucinations, but if you pay the premium fee, you will not get. But I think we're underestimating the value of AI. We're just critical of it. I think it's a tool that is available. It's in early stages. We haven't learned how to use it properly. And I think as, like your company and other companies in this domain, they will evolve into AI on top of an AI to check accuracy and to be available to accountants and lawyers and doctors and what have you. I think we're at the edge of a new era where our lives will change for the better, our jobs will evolve, and things will be better. And I would look positively at AI rather than in the negative eyes that I've seen tonight. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. I think next year we're probably going to come here and start talking about robots. So yeah, everything's going to change.
Rams. Okay, guys. I think we've got one more question left. Yep.
One more, please. Mine is the question of timeline. You mentioned that AI soon becomes the norm, right? So my first question is, when do you predict that would happen? And my second question in regards to timeline is, how long do we have left to capitalize on the window of using AI and making money out of it before it matures?
I think AI is going to be like electricity. It's going to be everywhere. We're going to see it in everything. And like how long it's very hard. Like if you look at history with all like innovations and big technologies, they all have a similar curve. And the timeline is always hard to really predict. But the one thing that has been consistent is there's this guy called Moore's Law, where he predicted, it was in like the 1970s, that every 18 months the number of resistors in a computer will double every 18 months. And he's been actually consistently, it's been true. It's really hard to say, but there are these 1.5 years or 18-month cycles where things are just doubling and moving a lot faster. So I think AI is also going to get to a point where it's just going to like balance out, and then it might dip a little bit, it might come back up. But I think we're very close. I don't think we're very far away, but who knows? Like there might just be something crazy that comes out, especially with AI implemented in what I was just joking around with robots. Like that might be the next big thing, and that might advance so much faster. And then we'll be like in China with robots dancing for us and entertaining us. It's very hard to predict, but I feel like it's close. It could be in the next 18 to 3 years, 18 months to 36. Okay, sorry.
All right.
We're not going very far away. We're coming back, right? Yes, okay, we're coming back. Thank you.
Now, can you just give a very big round of applause? That was incredible. And I am the facilitator, and I have to have a little bit of the, I was going to say, I have to be just a little bit careful with timing. There is the QR code. Can we keep it up there, please? Because if you take that and you answer a few questions, you can have an opportunity to have your business sorry, I'm losing my words here now. You can have, I need AI. You can have your business also help next month, is it? When we come back on stage. So please do take the QR code, do fill in the questions. I did want to say one thing to Farid. If you stay being polite and say please and thank you every time to AI, you're using up your tokens. Okay, so stop. True? Am I saying? Yes, absolutely. Anyway, but apparently also it teaches it a bit of a human nature as well. But anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a couple of things. We're going to have dinner for 15-20 minutes. Please do enjoy each other. There will be also a bucket going around for your business cards. We have some great lucky door prizes. I need to say this. First of all, we have a beautiful backpack
It's heavy. It's great. I don't know, they must have gold in there or something. And there's a backpack, but there's also...
Are you sure that's not the present?
Well, it is a backpack. I don't know if it's that one. It feels really heavy, so I've got the wrong one. Hey, it's a little bit part of me. It's part of me. That's okay. Maybe you can put it up. Can you put it... There you go. Someone else's... I was about to give someone's backpack away. I have to say, only I would do that. Look, thank you so much. That's a laptop. There you go. See how generous I am? See how generous I am, seriously. Next I'll be giving away people's jewellery, I don't know. Now, this is a woman dear to my heart here. There's a couple of things. First of all, there's a backpack. There's also, from the beautiful Vivian, we'll hear from her very, very soon. Her booklet's coming out, but we will hear from her. More, even better, can I just say, executive coaching, 90 minutes. This sort of thing can change your entire business around. And thank you very much for your generosity, and we'll hear from you later as well. Thank you, Vivian. So please enjoy dinner. Make sure your credit card, your business. I'm doing really well today, aren't I? I want laptops, credit cards. Make sure your business cards are in. You can't make this stuff up, seriously. And make sure your business cards are in the buckets. Enjoy dinner again.